See yourself not as you are, but as the person you aspire to become. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Marvin here from backsideoffear.com. If you find value here, consider subscribing. I make new videos each and every week on stuttering as well as overcoming fears. Today we're going to talk about visualization. And no, it's not about going into some sort of psycho land. There's actually a lot of great power in visualization and how you are using your mind to, cultivate your own reality. Visualization can be beneficial within anything, especially in sports, public speaking, an important interview or an important business meeting. Just visualizing how that would go, thinking about some possible questions that might come up, preparing mentally beforehand, and getting a clear idea of what might happen. That way, when you walk into the situation, you're not blindsided by all these things that you didn't think about. That can make it more challenging for you to be on top of your game as you are engaging. This connects with what we spoke about previously in one of the deep dive episodes where we talked about not allowing the circumstances to control and dictate what your attitude is going to be. I have a few examples I would like to share. The first one happened several years ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I was on the high school golf team around 2003 or 4 through 2007. And so it's somewhere around that time of 2007 when I was reading a book called Golf, the Mind Game. And it talked a lot about creating anchors within your body and really visualizing the shot that you want to hit. Not just visualizing like what it looks like, but visualizing what it feels like as well. I would watch videos on YouTube of professional golfers and just analyze their swing and just visualize my own self doing a swing similar to that. And then when I went on the golf course, I would just try to feel like I'm swinging in that way. And I would just visualize it and visualize the ball just being launched. Because there's a hole at Lake Spanaway Golf Course where I played often on the high school golf team. And many of the players that we played with, they just literally bombed the ball down the middle. When I first started, I was just skidding the ball across the ground. The ball was going absolutely nowhere. And on this one hole, it's a par 5. It has bunkers on the left and on the right. So the sand traps on the left and right. Well, you get it. It's different from what you're watching on the video. But the point is bunkers that are bordering the fairway, and then it's kind of slightly uphill. And I always want to hit it over those bunkers because then it'll be around the 200-yard marker, and I'll have a chance to get on the green in 2. But my ball would always land short, and I'll be around, say, the 250-yard marker. And all the players I would play with on the high school golf team, they would oftentimes just bomb it right over those bunkers, and they'll have like 200 yards or less left into the green. And I'm pretty sure this is after when I left the high school golf team, and this is the day when I was playing by myself, and I had this club right here. It's my R580 TaylorMade right there. Yeah, I had this club, and I held it, and I would just swing, and I would visualize myself hitting the ball right up the middle. When I stepped up and I hit the shot, it was literally one of the best shots I have ever hit. I bombed it right over those bunkers, and I only had about 200 yards left in that hole. And I hadn't seen my ball fly in that manner from me hitting it personally. It was amazing. A similar thing happened a few years later. I ended up getting a new driver because I ended up breaking the grip on that particular driver, unfortunately. And it kind of got repaired, but it's kind of felt a little awkward. I could probably get it fixed actually, but I just never got it fixed. I ended up getting this TaylorMade driver right here. It's a TaylorMade R1. It has a lot of different functionalities. You can change the loft on the driver, and you can do all kinds of stuff. It obviously has a big head. It actually has a bigger head than my other driver, so I figured I would be able to hit it much easier. For a while, I wasn't able to get very great shots with it. Eventually, I ended up using that visualization technique again, and just visualize myself hitting that shot and visualizing the swing playing and how it would come in through impact, and would watch professional golfers and how they swung. And when I stepped up and hit the shot, I believe this was hole 4 or 5, I ended up hitting the best shot I've ever hit with this club. And then I ended up just assuming that was just gonna happen naturally, which is an easy thing to do, fall into a habit. When you see that something went well, you're like, oh, I found the answer. I'm no longer gonna have to focus too much on creating a great result. So I can just walk up and speak in front of others without really thinking about it. Or I can do that thing that, without even paying attention to what I'm doing. And I ended up not hitting very great shots after that until I got to hole number 9, which is a par 5. And I did the visualization technique, just visualizing the shot, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, and just embodying that feeling. And then I stepped up and hit the shot, and it went right down the middle. It was just a beautiful sound. If you're a golfer, you know that feeling when you get perfect contact, you hit it right in the center of the club face, and it's just effortless going right through the ball. It just feels so smooth going through impact. And then you just watch the ball sail. It's a beautiful sight, and it's what keeps us going back to the golf course, because you just want to put as many of those good shots together to create a great round. The same thing applies to anything, especially public speaking. Before you go into a public speaking engagement, it's ideal to get there beforehand and be able to get a glimpse of what the speaking stage area looks like, so you can visualize yourself speaking and not just speaking to like an empty place. What I like to do is I like to visualize myself speaking to an actual audience. I'll just visualize that there's an audience that I'm speaking to, because oftentimes it'll kind of change the way in which you will carry yourself if you feel like you're speaking to an audience. Because sometimes if you're practicing, you might just be practicing looking down, and then when it comes to giving your presentation, now you're looking up and you're seeing an audience, it can be a different feeling. I think it's key to get the experience as much as you can in your head before actually going into the event. And that way, when the moment comes when you're speaking in front of your audience, you're much more prepared and engaged to give your best presentation possible. This entails visualizing what it feels like giving your speech, identifying what your message is, what your intention is to give your speech, identifying what areas of the stage that you're going to use, if you're going to move in different areas and whereabout on the speaking area. Putting all this into perspective can really aid you in visualizing yourself giving the speech before you give it, so you can give it with excellence. It's about seeing yourself not as you are, but as the person you aspire to become. Share your thoughts in the comments below on an experience where you visualized an outcome before it happened and how it benefited you. Like and share the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, it's amazing what you can achieve on the other side of your fears.